Welcome to the Marketunity. This is episode 0, and this episode represents our grand experiment. A lot of things are going into the Marketunity podcast series. Our show is a culmination of so many things you'll hear us talk about it in future episodes that we've created so many different brands for Made Grand by Cam around content that we were basically diluting the brand. And I'm thrilled and excited to be able to move back from some of the madness and chaos that was self-inflicted, that we created ourselves in order to generate our new show, our new focus, and get some things going. So, episode 0, our grand experiment. One of the things that I want to talk about is really how the show is organized and focused. So, as you listen to future episodes, you're going to see an evolution of things. We are doing things differently. Probably the first 5 episodes will have a lot of different tests in them. And then the first 50 episodes, those tests will be a lot more structured because there are different things that I want to learn, experiment with, find out if they work, if they don't work. More importantly, are they easy to replicate and produce from our standpoint? We've made significant investments in the production quality, mixing, mastering, and producing of our podcast show. One, because I want it to stand the test of time, that when we go back and listen to this 5 years from now, 10 years from now, that this still stands out as a quality podcast production in comparison to all of the things that are going to happen with technology over the next 5, 6 years, etc. The other thing as I look at content, this is really a documentary. When I think about our business, Made Grand by Cam is now 8 years in business, and we've developed a lot of content in that 8 years. Super proud of the work that has been done. And one of the things that, as I was on my walk today, that I thought about, some people have imposter syndrome. I don't have imposter syndrome. I have PMS, that I am a perfectionist trying to master everything syndrome. And sometimes I procrastinate in releasing content because I want it to be the absolute best that it can be. And it's a condition, affliction that I've been working on and working with for some time to get to a place, a headspace. And I have to do this with clients, but I also have to do it first and foremost with myself, to recognize that 90% good is better than everything else that is out there in the world. And when you can get to a place where 90% good is better than everything else out there in the world, you need to publish, you need to ship, and you need to get things done and out the door and stop procrastinating, waiting till you get that last 10% to get it 100% perfected. And it cracks me up too, because I hear when you talk to people today and they want to agree with you or say that something is right or something is true, people say 100% or 100%. And I hate that saying because you can't get anything done if you're always waiting to get to 100%. You need to get it to 90% and ship it. And you can always iterate, you can always improve over time, but you don't need to be in a place where you're thinking that it's got to be absolutely perfect. If people are pedantic and want to go and articulate what things you could have done better, then receive that criticism, receive that feedback, as at least somebody is listening and enjoying your content enough to the point that they can write something critical and give you feedback about it. The other side of that, of the creators, curators, and consumers, no one remembers the critics. And so if you think that criticism is going to be the death of you, don't worry about it. So I have to recognize that as our grand experiment continues, that one, by positioning it this podcast show as an experiment and as a documentary. It allows me to bring things to you that otherwise I would have done like the Apostle Paul and disappeared for 3 years before I came back and started writing and producing some of the best work of my life. But we're not going to do that. We're going to just release and let go so that you can get a sense of what is happening with Made Grand by Cam and not try to do so many big productions, but do smaller iterations so that we can get things out the door. The final thing about the podcast is that everything will always be done in threes. I have really wrapped my head around this notion of a trinity of ideas to focus everything around our business under the number three. And the reason for that is that if you look at our website, there are three key result areas that we focus on: growing your audience, capturing more leads, and delighting your buyers. And then our overarching pillars for the company are three: content, automation, and marketing, which are aligned to the three key result areas that I just laid out. We've also just done some significant work in making sure that even on our homepage and throughout all of the landing pages across the site, that when we offer a plan to help you do business with us and help you grow your business, that is no more than 3 steps. So just like this podcast, this is the final act of the podcast. That number one, act one, it's a grand experiment. Act two is a documentary so that we can share our notes as we go. And number three, that will be aligning the podcast to our key areas of content, automation, and marketing, or our key result areas of growing your audience, capturing more leads, and delighting your buyers. We don't need to talk about anything else. We don't need to worry about anything else. And we can spend our time in these domains and still have an inexhaustive amount of content to share with you so that you can grow your business. My belief, and it's a twofold belief. Number one, I believe that growth can be automatic if you have the right systems, frameworks, and disciplines in place. And when growth is automatic, you can begin to chart and engineer the lifestyle of your dreams. And so we are taking all of the things that we believe about Made Grand by Cam, the edicts that I have as the chief marketunist, and really putting them on display so that you can debate them, argue them, adopt them, challenge them, whatever you want to do with them so that you can be edified, inspired, and make your life better. But that is number one. We believe that growth can be automatic. The other part that is a core belief for Made Grand by Cam is that we need to free our minds to believe that anyone can become a millionaire if you know how to create an amazing hypnotic offer, generate leads for your offer, and bring it home so that people can actually make a purchase. That thought process is super simple to say, and it's actually super simple to do. But the harder part that we need to wrap our head around is shifting our mindset to actually make it happen. And when you can make that flip, that switch in your brain to making it happen, that yes, I can be a millionaire and I should not be bitching about money or inflation or the economy, but I should be really channeling my energy to create my own personal economy that is not impacted or negatively affected by the global economy, macro economy, or U.S. economy. And when you start thinking that way, you start reshaping the conversations you have with the people that you talk to the most. And we're going to help you in the process of talking about the Marketunity, the opportunities and the markets that are here for all of us to pursue our greatest discipline, our greatest passion, We can do the coolest things we've ever done in life if we will just step up and grab the Marketunity. So that's it for this episode. I'm not going to even say anything else. I'm not even going to spend a whole lot of time editing this episode. I'm just going to level out the audio, make sure that there's no pops and sibilance and all of the cool things. I'm not going to add or creative tag to the beginning of this, and nor am I going to put all of the other crap that usually happens in a podcast on this one, because it is episode 0. We'll do all of that stuff in the future podcast shows. But I will close with this. May there always be a market for the things we do. And I hope that you find your market too. Take care. Bye-bye.